Hello there. Hello there.
Hey, what's up guys, Paco Bricks here. Today I've got the full showcase of my Boba Fett minifigure from the Mandalorian Season 2. So this one took a lot of work to paint, sculpt, and glue different elements onto this minifigure to make it look the best it can. So I used a lot of 3D parts, a lot of paint, and yeah, it took quite a while to make, but I finally finished the whole figure. So I'm just going to do a little overview right now. So starting up at the top, we have a rangefinder from Clone Army Customs. I bought it in chrome and then painted the black bit on top to match Boba Fett. For the helmet, I used one from WM Blocks, which is considered a knockoff company, but I thought the helmet looks really nice with the cutout and reminds me of the old Lego style where they used to have the black heads underneath, which I used for this minifigure. I painted this helmet completely to match the style of Boba Fett. I used a tiny Dremel to make the dent in the side of his head, right there where he had the gunfight with Cad Bane. I also did small engravings on the front there for those two little arrows, one being silver, one being red. I did add some battle damage on different parts where I saw it on the photos from the episode where I did screenshots and then tried to get as accurate as I could with the scratches on this bit on the red right there. For the neck, I used a Clone Army Customs jetpack, which I painted and then added some sculpt around to make the little bit of cloth, which is the black you see right there. I then painted that over the top and then put a gloss over the top of that so it matched the actual plastic of Lego, which I think turned out really nice. For the torso right there, I also used a part from WM Blocks, which I clipped, sanded, and then re-sculpted slightly and then painted over the top of that to get the Boba Fett style, which I think turned out really well with the different bits of paint. I tried to get that little emblem in the top left as best as I could, but I think it's not the best representation, but it still looks okay for a minifigure. There's also two engravings on the right side, which are the two little dashes right there, which I had to paint inside, that turned out really well. They're pretty straight and pretty lined up, so I think that turned out pretty well. Moving down to the waist, we've got a belt right there, which I can't remember what that's from, but I cut it, clipped it, painted it, sanded a little bit, and made it the right shape, so there we have it right there. And on camera, those bottom half of the pouches look a little bit yellow. That is just the lighting, they are not actually yellow. If I turn it slightly, you can see it's brown. Moving on to the side, we've got his signature blaster as seen in Return of the Jedi and every single movie he's been in, which looks awesome. It is a brick arms one, which I've painted and tried to add a few lines to make it look like the grain of wood, and I think that turned out really well. On the side of the helmet there, which is quite small, it's a little dot, it's like a breather or something on the actual helmet, which I represented with a small black dot and then some silver paint over the top of that to make a sort of 3D effect, as you can see on camera right now. The shoulder pads are just sculpted from bits of plastic and then some sculpting putty. The van braces there are from Aerolite, which I painted on top of and then used some of the printing that was already on there and I left it on. Moving on to the backpack is from Clone Army Customs. As you guys may know, I do love CAC. Their products are always awesome, great quality. So I decided to use one of their grey backpacks, paint over the top of that, put all the little details on, and I think that turned out pretty well, all things considered. Now the back of the helmet is also painted. I didn't know what colour that little back square is, so I just used brown since there was none in the reference material that I had at the time from the episode. Anyway, there is a Karma or waist cape going around the side that I've painted slightly to make it look like ripples. I don't think that turned out too well, so next time I reckon I'll just leave it plain and leave it at that. Now moving on to this left side, or his left side, we've got that emblem on his shoulder, which took a long time to paint with a tiny little push pin right there, but I think it turned out okay. And then the white blob around the outside also took a long time to paint, but I think it turned out okay on this scale. From far away it looks great. If you go closer up it doesn't look brilliant, to be honest, but I think it represents it quite well. Now on the side of the helmet there are a lot of dashes. They're very misaligned, but I mean, again, close up it doesn't look too great, but from far away it looks awesome. Now back to the front. In all, I think this is a really good custom. For my first all-in proper painted custom, I think this turned out really well. Hopefully in the future with Din Djarin and then Bo-Katan, they will turn out a lot better than this one. Even though this is awesome by my standards, it's not up to scratch with MGF customs and his awesome figures. If you haven't seen him already, make sure you check him out, link in the description below. He does awesome customs, and that's where I took most of my inspiration for this figure from. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.